War had been raging in Europe for 3 years. During that time, America had remained neutral. But on April 6, 1917, Congress voted to declare war on Germany and enter the fighting on the side of Britain and France. A year and 5 months later, the war would end, but the consequences of the brief engagement would be dramatic for the United States. America mobilized for World War I in a new and powerful way that would be repeated in the wars that would follow in the 20th century. Congress passed the Selective Service Act, establishing local draft boards, and 2 million men were called up for service and shipped overseas. The first training field for warplanes opened in Illinois, and with it began what would, a generation later, become the United States Air Force. In July, the first soldiers arrived on European soil, though the first American shot was not fired until October. The United States fighting men got their first real test in the spring of 1918. Germany, knowing she had to act before all of America's forces were in the field, launched the last great offensive. She pushed back the Allies for 2 months, but lost certain victory when an American division held its ground and the German attack sputtered. More battles followed, and the Americans showed their fierce courage. By the end of the summer, the war was lost for Germany. After 4 years of fixed trench warfare, Germany signed an armistice on November 11, 1918. The war to end all wars was over. In reality, combat would take only a short time out until the next World War. But the conflict served notice that the United States was a preeminent military power when it chose to be one. The cost of the war was relatively light for America: 49,000 killed in battle. Diseases claimed 57,000 more, and another 230,000 wounded. World War I produced its share of heroes. Foremost was General John Blackjack Pershing, commander of the American Army, whose famous remark when he entered Paris in 1917, "Lafayette, we are here," was a fitting tribute to France's help during the Revolutionary War. Aerial combat, the most romantic part of the conflict, provided America another true war hero in the mold of Washington, Grant, and Teddy Roosevelt. He was an ordinary American named Eddie Rickenbacker. The war ended the outmoded European style of trench warfare. Bolstered by chemical weapons, machine guns, and artillery, millions on both sides were slaughtered in foolhardy frontal charges against entrenched positions. In reality, the war was fought on 2 small battlefields, northern France and the Mediterranean. In the end, little had changed except the surrender terms had left Germany destitute, laying the foundation for the next war. On the political side, American participation gave the United States a seat at the peace negotiations in 1918. From here, Wilson set forth his famous 14 points and his idea for a League of Nations. Though the United States formally rejected the League, its founding was significant in that it brought all the nations of the world together in an organization to regulate themselves. Disbanded in the 1930s, it would be resurrected as the United Nations in 1946.